It's exhausting being black.
Nowadays there is no guarantee I'll make it home, 'cause the value of my life is slim to none. The color of my skin scares the men who wear a badge, and they'll gun me down if they pull out my thread. Nowadays the content of my character can't speak, no, before they spill my blood out in the streets. And as it flows, they make me into what they're taught to think, that I'm a thug and drug dealing machine. Nowadays,
My poor little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream.
So King's Dream is on pause, right? So the movie continued on after King, and then it took a pause. At the time when King was around, one of the things he mentioned in his I Have a Dream speech was his brown black children would be able to sit down in the same space and capacity as a white child. So in that sense, we are now coexisting. We see where you have integration of schools, and we are past Jim Crow technically in a lot of different ways. However, when it comes to some of the other things that he mentioned, we still haven't gotten there yet.
No, I don't believe Dr. King's dream is deferred. I think we think of his dream as a destination instead of a journey. And I think it was always a journey. I think we're always working toward his dream, and we always will be, because there'll always be injustice in the world, there'll always be problems, there'll always be racism, there'll always be sexism and classism. So it's something we're gonna have to keep working at forever. And so I think we need to keep thinking of it as a guiding light and not as a place that we're gonna get to and then we're there and now everything is perfect. I don't think that's the way it works.
I think if you're looking at Dr. Martin Luther King from the aspect of equality, black and white equality, I mean, it's a beautiful dream. I don't feel like it happened yet. I mean, I think it's a beautiful dream, but I think we got a long way to go.
I don't believe it's deferred, more so as it's slowed down.
No, not completely. I think his dream will always live on in somebody. It'll never die.
I think it's still alive and people mean well, but I think a lot of people think we've made more progress than we have, so they've stopped trying to practice what he preached, if that makes sense.
This is my intake on Dr. King's dream. Now it ain't died because there's too much power to die. It's just some brothers are woke and some ain't. For the brothers that's woke, they live their dream. For the ones that's deluded, they live in another dream.
I think a lot of the times maybe we aren't focusing on the right things. A lot of times we talk about language and liberalism and all those sort of things. And while that is an important thing, like for me, when I see more institutional stuff as more important. Like I worked for an arts camp for underprivileged families, and it was very, very clear when you look at the income brackets what the racial divides are, right? There was literally only one white kid there, right? So that says something, right? That to me is more important than the use of language and whether we're being offensive on this and that sort of stuff. So when I see that, when the underprivileged are almost all from African descent, some Indian, that shows that there's still more room for moving forward. How to solve that, I don't really know, but it definitely shows, to answer your question, that Martin Luther King's dream has not been entirely fulfilled yet. You know, like there's still definitely more room for moving forward. So yeah, I think some things have gotten better, and we have moved forward in many ways, but there's still room for work.
Do I believe that Dr. King's dream is deferred? Yes, I do. I think that we've made measures of progress, but in order for us to have the level of equality that he caused people to dream about, or the level of equity, I'll say, to cause people to dream about, then we've got a lot more changing in the hearts of men that has to happen. I think Black people have done a lot, but at the same time, I think contextually we have to remember that Dr. King is not just talking about Black people, he's talking about all peoples. And so ultimately, I feel like if one of us is suffering, then all of us is suffering. And so until we see sort of a global movement where every people group, no matter what they look like and who they prefer, whatever that is, I feel like we still have ways to go.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So I am the grand nephew of Ralph David Abernathy, who worked with Dr. King. And I think a lot of the times people don't understand what life was like before the Civil Rights Act was passed. What it did for Black people, what it did for white women. This would be a totally different country if his dream was deferred. Like, look up what, that Civil Rights Act did for us. He's really the only, I'll say the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, they were the only people that got some legislation passed. You feel what I'm saying? Everything else felt good, but they got the job done.
I think so. I don't think it was ever completely achieved. I think it had a ways to go, and it still has a way to go. And it's going to take longer to get there as long as we keep denying that it hasn't been achieved.
I believe that Dr. Martin Luther King's dream comes in waves. There's been times in my life where I'm like, man, things have changed, especially hanging out with like my Dungeon family friends and going to mostly Black schools and all of us getting along and not just tolerating each other, but actually thriving together, eating Thanksgiving dinner together, and making money together, staying in each other's houses, helping each other, getting each other out of jail, from everything, helping each other with our crafts. So in my own personal world and bubble, the dream is alive. It's been thriving, but then, like I said, it comes in waves. Racial tensions come up and down, and as of now, the tensions are high, but I believe that the swoop is starting to go back down. I believe that we are uniting as all races right now. I think people are fed up. I think people who were racist are starting to see as dumb as fuck, and that it's not the way to thrive, that love conquers all.
Do I believe that Martin Luther King's dream was deferred? We got to define his dream first. Like, in the sense of what just for clarity, like in the sense of what he was hoping for, to see white men and Black men talking and conversing. I don't think it happened. What he was really going for, his economic thought process and like growth for Black people as a whole, yeah, that's totally been deferred.
Us down, yeah. We can burn the precinct down, but we can't afford just to leave us now. Condition too critical, they gonna get rid of you. Hey, you not even hip to what they put into you. Vaccinations keep us sick of the physical. Assassination makes us rich individuals. Hanging niggas, we remember the visuals. Dirty coppers got a little individuals. Cocking hammers for a proper grammar. Push up on us with a lot of anna. Started with the slavery, now they try to count us. Got a lot of cameras though. And they still kill us and frame us. Only feel us when we famous. It's too lit and too dangerous to be black on black. Yeah.
One of the last quotes, if I'm not mistaken, he was like, I feel I misguided or, integrated my people into a burning house. Now, I resonate with that a little more, you know what I'm saying? I think that a lot of the people are starting, at least the circles that I can see, and with people with access to information, they're starting to see this system in which we're under. And as much as we, want that dream and strive for that dream, like powers that be are pretty much sure not gonna let that happen.
I feel like
Do you believe it's dead? Do you believe it slowed down? Or
it all depends on how you look at it.
I feel like we came somewhere from since then, but then in certain situations we still did it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like a snail move.
Basically.
It's
like
snail
real
move.
slow.
It's been progress, but not enough.
Not enough, yeah.
Not
For
enough.
for it to be as many years as it
Not
has
right.
been,
Yeah.
because
Not
that was
in the
what,
right
the 60s? That was in the 60s. It's about to be 2020 in 2 years.
Yeah.
That's 80 years. I'm sorry, 60 years.
To know that eventually we're going to be able to receive and equal to everybody else.
Everything ain't equal.
But everybody's not equal. I mean, we may think we may be equal, but they won't let us be equal.
So I definitely think people coming together from disparate backgrounds, ethnically, racially, and all of that was an important part of his dream. But I think there is another aspect to his message that oftentimes is overlooked or maybe suppressed, which is really around his focus on poverty. And so I oftentimes question the validity of interest in Martin Luther King's message and in Martin Luther King as an American icon because of our insistence to only look at the integration part of his story and never to always look holistically at all of the things that he was talking about. And poverty was a big part of that message.
Can't breathe. Your silence is suffocating me. My stomach aches from all the lies you feed. All the lies you feed. All the lies you feed. Speak up. Speak up. Speak up, dear America. Speak up, dear America. Speak up. Speak up.